right, so blue-black Kefnet. Kefnet, for those not familiar, is God-Eternal Kefnet here. It says when you reveal the first card drawn, you may reveal the first card you draw each turn. If you reveal an instant or sorcery, you can copy it and cast the copy for 2 less mana. When it dies, it has the God-Eternal text where it can tuck itself back into our deck. What are we doubling up here? We've got Drawn from Dreams is the numero uno card we'd like to double up. So 2 mana, look at 7, draw 2, super powerful. Got Thought Erasure, Tyrant, Scorn, Trophy, Drawn to the Loch here is various interactions at the bottom. Cry and Ritual of some sweepers. And then we've got Brazen Borrower and Cavalier of Gales as cards to generate card advantage, as well as additional threats to close the game out in the air. So we're a blue-black control deck with a small green splash for Assassin's Trophy to answer problem permanents that straight blue-black can't answer, as well as a cheeky Tamiyo here for some extra card advantage. And then we've got a bunch of flying threats to try and close the game out in a reasonable amount of time. Hey, thanks for the 1.5 years, Dorox. Welcome back. Let's dive on into some match with this one and see how it goes. No, I think it's fine, Sabin. There wasn't anything, like, in it super specific to the decks that got banned. Just as a heads up, all the pages on my website are living pages. So when things get banned, I do sweeps through those decks and do updates. Even if I don't play them again immediately because they're not the top of the queue, the current deck list embedded on the website is whatever I always think is likely the best for that archetype. You have 6 figures worth of shillings. Beverly Hills. That's where I want to be. Just shilling, living in Beverly Hills. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Kind of looking for a blue Shockland here so we can Thought Erasure on too. I'm gonna go ahead and fetch an island with this. And then Castle will be untapped the following turn. Sweet. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Steven. I think it's definitely my favorite control deck in the format at the moment. Are shillings a form of UBI? Yeah, they're Hoaglandia's version of UBI. Opponent might be playing the deck that we were just playing. When you think about Magic, Mirror, and Underrealm Lich in this deck, I don't think either of those cards solve problems that we have. So generally speaking, my question's always, if you want to recommend something that we should be playing, tell me why that card is good, what problem does my deck have that card works to solve. Generally what I look to see. I think I want a Thought Erasure here. It might be wrong to not just Tyrant Scorn. Double uncastable Gadwick. I don't really care about Rail's Outburst, right? I think I'm actually going to take an uncastable Gadwick here. And then hopefully we find an untapped Black Source and just get to, like, soak this Bone Crusher. Any untapped land lets us God-Eternal Kefnet, so, like, that's pretty reasonable. And that's kind of the goal of my suggestion rules, Nana. Is it encourages people to put a little thought in instead of just shouting random things. I'm gonna be honest, I read quote 51 there, and I was like, what is APE Dex? What does the acronym APE stand for? That is in fact what it stands for. Hoogle ape, hoogle ape, hoogle ape. It's a problem that we never draw enough cards, quite possibly. I think I want to just Soot here rather than God-Eternal Kefnet, because if I Kefnet and then block, they get to Ral's Outburst to finish it off, which isn't stellar for me. Cutthroat's not a big deal. I've got another Soot, and I've got a Tyrant Scorn here. Brazen Borrower, pretty medium in this matchup. It doesn't block a lot of their threats, and bouncing a lot of their stuff isn't particularly good. The only content creator I watch due to your insight and no-nonsense responses. Thanks for the third of year, Illustrate. I appreciate it. Thanks for keeping me here making stuff. A German news show recently talked about using an APP on your phone. It took a solid 10 minutes for a release. They were talking about apps. Oh, come on, yeah. Bone Crushers, ready to die, chat. Bye, friends. Now, we do kind of have to worry about, like, Gadwick, like, tapping down blockers and pushing through the last few points of damage potentially here, but overall, I think we're in a pretty good spot. If we hit a third blue source and get to start jamming these Cavaliers, should be pretty well off. That's pretty good. Have we played a Mardu Fires deck? We have not. If they attack here, I'm gonna block. This Tyrant Scorn gets to kill Gadwick, so I want to do this, that's fine. I guess the question is, do I want to tuck this back in? I guess they just don't beat a 4/5 flyer unless they have a counter spell. Basic Forest. Yep. This is my bed. I'm gonna lie down in it. Without any hard milled cards, is Dread more of a mid... Yeah, I mean, obviously. It doesn't do anything on turn 2, right? It's like, take this game, for instance, right? I haven't milled my opponent at all, but, like, Drown would just be one of the best draws in my deck because it just counters anything at this point. Blue source. Blue source. Alright, I think I'm actually going to do these. So that way I can poke a hole in their hand before we start shoving in Cavaliers. Definitely just taking the Cleveland there. And then, look, there's Drown, like I said. Just actual factual best draw at this point. I guess they have a negate. But, like, you know. We did almost whiff on a blue source in 7 looks. It was kind of impressive. Yeah, quench this one. Sick. Alright. Borrower's not very good here. Don't need a swamp. Play Fabled Passage, get to shuffle. I can highlight my message without using shillings. Yes, you can, Marty. Thanks for the biddies. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are. Happy Thursday. Wait, when you cheer bits, do you get the emotes? Or does it just give other people the emotes? Would you like to see me do it again? Look, ma, no hands. Alright, so I'm gonna grab our third island here. I'm gonna let this resolve, and then I'm gonna Murderous Rider it, I think, before they get to untap and have negate up. Extras. Extra, read all about it. Thanks for the tier 3, welcome back. I have emotes, but I don't know when I got them. Fair. Yeah, Fabled Passage plus Cavalier is great. Just like actually get to clear your brainstorm. And then even here, like I get to put these two back, stack Cry on top, play Temple, scry the Cry away. I'm like Brittany, oops, I did it again. We cheered the bits. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. At this rate, Marty's about to cut the lives. I mean, this is unfortunately the last standard deck I can do today. Nivik is accusing me of doing drugs. Don't do that, Nivik. I'd like to attack for 5. There literally isn't a green card in my hand, and it wants to tap both my swamps and no forest. Literally isn't a green card in my hand, and it wants to tap 2 swamps and no forest. I'm just, you know, it's just embarrassing. Okay, as fun as having you read all my messages, I'm a sucker for one-off attention. Here's the rest. I got Shuffler's broken. Please nerf. Was that a timeout request, Marty? Just to clarify. No. Just check in. Alright, so I'm gonna Murderous Rider this. And it's probably gonna get negated, but that's fine. And then I'm still at 6. And I can't Drown in the Loch this because they have Quench, and I just want this Quench to be a dead card for them, so. Oh, we would have drawn Kefnet. We would have drawn from Dreams with Kefnet, chat. That's so sad. Sounds good, Marty. You got one in the bank. I'm being extra conservative with Cavalier of Gales here, because if this is another Brazen Borrower, I'd be dead if I attack with Cavalier. And like, I just want to survive till next turn so I can start attacking with Murderous Rider and buffer my life total back up. Yep. Bone Crusher can block Murderous Rider now, which kind of sucks. X is 4. Brutal. I'm just going to play into their Quench. This Quench is just restricting my mana too much. I need to just get it out of there. It's possible I should have just played into it earlier, honestly. Alright, so I'm hoping to Drawn from Dreams or hit a removal spell naturally, kill this, and get in with Murderous Rider. Perfect. Alright, up to 6. Your move. I guess if I hit them with this... You know what? Maybe I'm supposed to just hit them with this there. And then, maybe I'm supposed to hit them with this and then kill this. Yeah, I think I messed up here. I think I was supposed to kill this. I think that was a mistake. I should have killed this and hit them to 9, because then these two would be lethal. This card's felt really bad. Am I dead? We're dead to Rail's Outburst. A lot of these decks have been playing 2 or even 3 copies of that card. Alright. This stupid forest, man. Maybe I'm supposed to do this first in case this last card is Ionize. Yeah, I think I'm just getting rid of Kefnet at this point. Actually, I guess I don't really need it. I don't really want to draw another shock land next turn. Yeah, Kefnet against Brazen Borrower has been super awkward. Cavalier's pretty reasonable, though. So they get to... Wow, they forgot to put a stop on their upkeep. Dead to Cleveland. Dead to Rail's Outburst. Alright. Nah, I think Bond of Insight is just a bad Tamiyo. And I think Tamiyo is fine. Like, she's a sweet card. I got you, Lizardio. Welcome back to the land of the living. And then I think we just hope that this Drown in the Loch drags us across the finish line. Hey, Turbo Banana, thanks for the quarter of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. This is still game one, huh? Classic 20-minute game one. It's a long tank. They need a removal spell and a counter spell, or like double removal or something like that. Also, outburst plus counter spell. It doesn't actually pop the timers up until later. They have 17 minutes left. I have 22 minutes left, so it has just been a long game. Yeah, the blue-red flash deck is a lot better than Simic. It's not particularly close. For sure. Alright, so they're dead. Brazen Borrower's real bad here. Let's cut that. Cry's kind of whatever. Soot's actually okay-ish. Disfigure seems good. Duress seems fine. Trophy seems fine. Spyglass doesn't do much. Maybe Tamiyo's good just for the card advantage of the long term. Wait, what do we think of this? Stroke's not particularly good against their deck. A curve only a mother could love. Hey, I've got ones and twos, okay? I got plenty of ones and twos. Thank you very much. Soot is basically Plagued Wind here. Not strictly. It's also just kind of clunky. Like, a lot of the time, I can't afford to leave even a single threat they have in play. So, like, Soot costing 4 mana is hard to resolve. And, it's hard to resolve. And I'm often 1-for-1ing it, which makes it not stellar. You think actual factual Plague Wind would be good in Standard? Probably not. Well, those were a couple of hands. Those are... This is where the magic happens. Welcome, everyone. If you're new here, my name's Jeff. We're playing Magic the Gathering today. This is definitely a keep. Our chances of drawing black with this hand are better than our chances of winning on 4 cards. That's fine. We won game 1. If we lose this, we'll get game 3 on the play. Plague Wind was printed into a standard format that had Dark Ritual, Counterspell, and Rebels. Wild. What does green actually do for this deck? Allows you to take permanents off the table that you otherwise couldn't interact with in blue-black. Assassin's Trophy says solve target problem. Yeah. Yeah, the green is literally 4 trophy and 2 Tamiyo with like 12 green sources, I think. Sure. Yeah, not only enchantments, but artifacts, too. Yeah, I agree, Marty. Drawing the Lochs, again, going to be a little bit awkward in the early game, but they're just easily one of our best cards in the mid to late game. That's actually good for us. Puts a card in their bin. Hopefully they cast an Opt here as well. Perfect. Trophying Oven feels like an auto loss. I don't think that's remotely close to true. I think Trophying Oven on turn 2 isn't a good play, and you probably shouldn't make it. But I think in the mid to late game, being able to Trophy an Oven to take it off the table once you've stabilized is a way that you prevent the game from going in your opponent's favor. So again, as frequently as the case with Magic, context is key. It's not just as simple as, hey, always do this, never do this. Oh yeah, dispute me, daddy. You know, maybe I'm supposed to Murderous Rider here, actually, to play around dispute. I'm probably supposed to Murderous Rider there to play around dispute. I think that was a mistake on my part. Yeah. They're missing land drops though, so that's good for us. Please play a Brazen Borrower. Or another Cutthroat. Just something I can kill. This basic forest has been glued to our opener. Unfortunately, we have to play a basic forest in this mana base because you want your Fabled Passages to be all 3 colors in a pinch. But you're not happy about it. Whoa, it figured out to tap the forest. Wild. Weird. Good little auto tapper. Figured out to tap the forest. Yeah, they had an opt-in a passage in their bin. Even if they didn't have both of those, the Mystic Dispute would have been going into their bin too there. So the Mystic Dispute would have given us the second. I think on average, Cavalier of Gales is just the better card. They're representing Dispute. I think I'm still gonna try, because otherwise this draws 2. And like, if they dispute this, I get to Gales. Like, if this finds an untapped land, I get to do this. Maybe I'm supposed to leave double black up here so I don't have to draw exactly a black source. This is fine. Probably don't need a Disfigure. So I'm gonna put these back, put Disfigure on top, Thought Erasure, then bin the Disfigure. I think it's just that one. Yeah, their hand is pretty good. Hey, CJNJ, thanks for the 14 months. Yeah, resaving. It's quite nice. If they scry here, see what they do with the scry. Hey, guacamole. One top. Let's go ahead and murder this. Yeah, I agree. Both of those really subtle animations they added to Rider were excellent improvements. Like them a lot. Ionize me, daddy. Kill this, play another one, attack them for 7. Now, I think, especially because their hand is so full and they're going to be Gadwicking again, I'd rather not give them the extra mana if I can avoid it. We're at 12 and have 4 lifelink power in play, 9 power total. Feels like we're in a pretty good spot. Unless they have, like, Fry here, they don't have a super clean answer to Cavalier of Gales. If they have, like, Brazen Borrower to Temperate, it gets to draw another card. Okay. Scale of 1 to dead, what are we working with your opponent? Crunch. Feel like this deck doesn't need Kefnet. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think evaluating your cards after you see it in the matchup where it's easily at its worst is not a great way to go about evaluating your cards. Everything is unplayable if you look at them when they're in their worst possible situation. What's your favorite Glory Banger deck in Pioneer? Blue-Red Eldrazi. We played Blue-Red Eldrazi this morning and it was great. Blue-Red Eldrazi is my favorite deck. We're definitely not hitting Mythic today. The first match with this deck took 35 minutes, so like, this might only be a 3 or 4 match set at most. In. Oh, that's a good one, chat. Ooh, that's a good one too. Play some more things out that die to cry, opponent. You love to see it, chat. You love to see it, chat. Cry me a river, baby. Whee! Okay, that's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good one. I think I'm going to take the island here. I think I want to be able to cast Cavalier if we draw it. This also lets me, like, Trophy plus Borrower in the same turn. Yeah. We could just die here. Are dead to a lot, chat. Yep, Rankle Chandra is very good. For sure. The Rankle Kratz deck on my website is both of those, features both of those gems. Don't Murderous Rider me. Since we're at 2, I guess I'll just cast this one. That's actually a pretty okay draw, huh? Helps us stabilize. Yoink. Am I dead? Yikes, might be dead. I think I want to do this. I'm not dead yet. You will be soon, Grandpa. What's going on, Zikta? Catch us right at the tail end today. You will be soon. Yikes. Woof. All right, what are we looking to do here? Sweepers sound great. We were on the draw Dimir Spy, so we just like took too much damage. Is the TLDR of that game. I think I'm gonna cut the Thought Erasure and just keep all my cards that play to the board. Maybe trim one drawn from Dreams. Listen, the cry satisfied me, chat, okay? Spyglass for Chandra and Priest. Yeah, that's probably a good suggestion. I'll cut the last two erasures for things. How's this deck doing? I don't know, seems okay. Do-do-do, 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 do-do-do. Definitely just take him a 2-for-1 here. Kick that one back up to your hand. I drew third blue already. I have a drown. They don't have anything in their bin. I think it's just like Rider plus trophy here. It's a good pickup. Oh, I don't have a third black, huh? I was gonna say I could just trophy plus soot to clean things up here, but I actually can't at the moment. Alright, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go ahead and destroy the Storm Fist, and then God-Eternal can plan to just attack to bolt down.
My friend is here to help your pain.
I would like to reveal that one. Thank you for asking. I would in fact like to reveal that one. Yeah, Kefnet's very reasonable against these aggro decks where his body is relevant. He definitely sucks against opposing Brazen Borrowers. Like, not close, sucks there. Nothing you can do about it. My biggest fail in sideboarding is never siding out erasures. It feels bad to set out. You should basically cut erasures in most aggressive matchups. In my opinion. Anybody having the strangest sense of deja vu? Yeah, we've had Cryon 3 all 3 games. Hashtag sometimes lucky. If they have a Rankle here, just a Mayhem Devil, sure. Looking for land, not finding it. Huh? I think I just want to keep my health total high here. And probably Scorn this. I don't think I want to take hits. My deck really doesn't gain life like we saw in the first game. Actually, I have Spyglass for that, right? Okay, yeah, we'll kill this in response, then we'll probably Spyglass the oven next turn. Yep. Ritual of Soot's looking a little awkward here. Really hoping to find that second blue source to get our God-Eternal Kefnet down. Soot will eventually clean those up, which is nice. Island. That's, you know, basically what we asked for. Enter the God-Eternals for the aggro matchup. No, I don't actually think Enter the God-Eternals is that good in this format right now, because you only gain life from Enter the God-Eternals if it deals damage, and with so many of the aggressive decks being oven decks, you're frequently not going to deal damage. So I think that's not great.
I adore an audience.
So they're going to get to do some damage to us with the cat here for a turn or two. But, so we're going to take 2 and then 4 and then 2 more from the cat. But then we get to Sorcerous Spyglass the cat next turn. So that's nice. Killing Tibalt means I take a damage because the cat's gonna get to attack me, but I think that's fine. And we're dead. That's super unfortunate. I think I had to sequence the way that I did just because if I give them a turn without Ritual of Sooting them, my opponent would get to activate Priest, and activating Priest would not be good for me with God-Eternal Kefnet, so a little unfortunate that they drew Duress, but I'm pretty happy with my gameplay. I'm gonna go ahead and scry with Castle Vantress this turn, because if I hit a trophy, I can trophy both these ovens, which would be great. Or I have to counter that. Not optional. You cannot reveal this to get to do anything with it. That's not how magic works. These are creatures everywhere except when they're on the stack. So it does not have synergy with Kefnet, unfortunately. So they're going to put me down to 5 here, and then I'm at a virtual 3 when they untap with both ovens again. I'm going to disfigure their cat plus activate castle. Hopefully they draw a blank this turn to give us a little bit of breathing room. We're looking for our second copy of Spyglass or one of our 4 copies of Assassin's Trophy here. To be able to put these witches' ovens out of business. Oh, that's a good line. Yeah, you're right, because then if they brick, they're just done. Yeah, that's a good call. That's a good suggestion. Yep. Sitting here doesn't do anything, it just kills my borrower because they make a food and bring this back in end of turn. I feel like they're supposed to just go to their turn here. I guess they could start getting, they get extra cat triggers if they do it this turn. Yeah, they're probably supposed to bring the cat back and try and drain me out. Alright, so I get 3 looks at one of my answers here. Is there any draw? Yeah, Assassin's Trophy kills both ovens. We also have Sorcerous Spyglass in our deck. So a trophy will get revealed off of Kefnet. It'll kill both ovens for us. Opponents had 4 lands and 17 cards. It's just real brutal. No, I don't want to put a stop on my upkeep. If I put a stop on my upkeep, I can't double cast Assassin's Trophy. So that would be bad. Vomit. Now they get to draw 2 cards. This is actually too little too late, right? Because they're gonna drain me for 2 and then have 2 attackers. Right? Yeah, we're dead. Yeah, because they drew another spell, we're dead. That was a pretty close game. We were fortunate to have Cry on all 3 games. They were very fortunate to both win the die roll to win game 1 and then draw nothing but gas there at the end of that one. I think I'm pretty happy with the decisions I made in that game. I don't think I could have made. I don't think there were any points where I was unhappy with the sequencing that I did. I think we have the tools to be successful there if we run a little bit closer to average. And they, you know, see closer to like, you know, the 30% lands that they'll see most games. You know what increases your win percentage greatly against aggressive decks? Winning the die roll. For people that are taking notes at home, if you want to play a deck like this, I would 10 out of 10 recommend winning the die roll. It's a strong play. Well, this I just kill. I think I take the Knight here because it gives them the ability to double spell next turn, potentially. Okay. Again, just trying to clothesline them in terms of how many spells they can cast per turn. We're going to draw a card from this. We'll get to draw a card from our turns. So just hoping to draw an untapped land here. Yeah, like I mentioned a few times on stream, I really hope Wizard starts to experiment with ways to balance out being on the play versus being on the draw. It's one of the worst things design-wise about Magic. Which is honestly impressive to say, considering this game has lands as a resource system. I think we're pretty far ahead at this point. We're rapidly approaching garbage time. Once Upon a Time could have been more interesting if it required not going first like Gemstone. That's a really good thought, actually. I agree that that would be sweet. Do I Drawn from Dreams here and hope to hit a land? That seems like needlessly like gambling. Let's just not die by mistake. So, one of the things the mana system in Magic does that I think enough people don't talk about when they talk about some of the frustrations around it is the mana system in Magic is something that allows a lot of the deck building to be really interesting. Like a lot of the games that remove resource variance from their games don't have nearly as deep deck building as Magic does. It's actually the Mythgard game that we're gonna wrap up with a little bit of today. They're probably one of the only games I've ever played that's done that really successfully and elegantly, in my opinion. They're able to keep a lot of the deck building depth that games like Magic offer without having resource variance. Let me just rebuy some of my spells here.
Tamiyo, it is an honor to
These spells are great. Buy their stuff.
I have learned much from
I
my
like playing the game far more than deck building, so that's probably one of the reasons why I hate it so much. Yeah. Yep. don't know, from a playing the game perspective too, like, there wouldn't be nearly as many neat decks to play from that other people can build too if you weren't, Yeah, our opponent is quite the trooper. I am very surprised they're still slogging along here. To be fair, our deck's a bit of a brew, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're still just, like, slogging through here because they just want to, like, see more of our deck before they concede. It's been okay, Space Martian. I don't even know what we're looking for. Maybe I'm just supposed to top that, so Tamiyo's like +1 guarantees hits.
I think you will find my note helpful.
You don't have to be good at deck building to enjoy it. I often take deck decks and modify some of it to my own preferences. Yeah, I think that's true too. And honestly, like, the people often ask, like, you know, how do you get better at deck building? Doing exactly that, Ketsu, is like step 1 to being better at building Magic decks. Like, taking decks that are established as good decks and figuring out why they're good and twisting them here and there is the best way to become better. Understand what makes the good decks tick. Alright, Disfigure, Extra Cry, Extra Ritual, Trophy. Tamiyo gets to come out here, and again, I think we just cut these. Yeah, leave one in. That seems fine. This is just what I like to refer to as an all Doomblades on deck matchup when you're playing an interactive deck like this. We're basically just trying to make sure the board is constantly clear, so eventually we can stick one of our powerful threats and close the game out. Brazen Borrower is pretty medium here. I'm going to mulligan this hand. Drown in the Loch without any mill element. Doesn't kill anything on the second turn, so... this hand's potentially very good. It needs to run off a bunch of lands in a row, but it does go 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So, if we get a little bit fortune here, this hand is potentially very good. Second Kefnet, not stellar. Yeah, the client lag is bad. They mentioned that they were going to try and address it in the most recent patch. It really wasn't addressed. Yeah, Casualty of War is 2 green intensive. Casualty of War requires double green, which pushes us into a full Sultai deck at that point, which I don't think is something we want to be. Alright, so I'm going to use Brazen Borrower with this Rotting Regisaur to generate a little bit of card advantage here. So I'm going to bounce this, which obviously I could kill this, but I'd rather bounce it, so like we just like tempo them a little bit. The fact that we're missing our third land here probably makes it lights out, though. Yeah, I don't think it's strictly true that you need to be running ramp to leverage casualties in this format. I think a lot of the really good decks right now are slow enough that, like, casualties or that they're slow enough that you can just play casualties honestly and be fine. I think it is good with ramp, but I don't think ramp is like you have to have this. I think we're probably dead at this point. My opponent's board is good enough, like, if I could draw and cast a Cry next turn, I could be fine, but the fact that I both don't have lands and don't have a Cry feels like lights out. If we draw an untapped Black Source, I'll play Murderous Rider. It's a 2/2, 2/3 lifelinker, and maybe that drags us across the finish line. Maybe. But still likely dead. Like, I trade with the Dreadhorde Butcher and then take a ton of damage elsewhere. Yeah, okay. Let's go to game 3 where we get to be on the play. Hopefully play 3 lands in 3 turns. Don't ask for too much. Fair. In. Get to cast this guaranteed. Get to cast this with any 4th land. Sick. Sneepa keepa doo 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 doo. Sneepapa keepapa. Alright, so if I wait to soot this, I take 2 from inside of combat, and then I take an extra 1 when it dies, so I take 5. If I just Rider it, I only take 2, but then I spent a Rider. Maybe I just Brazen Borrower this turn. I don't hate that. The Brazen Borrower makes it feel like I'm less likely to play a sweeper next turn. Doing this now because I don't want to take 2 on their turn and trigger their Knight of the Ebon Legion if I can avoid it. Hopefully they play like double Butcher here. Yeah, feels like pretty typical control deck problems here. Like, it's like how our answers are lining up into their threats, just not looking particularly ideal. Alright, well, they decided to not attack this into here. So we get to stem the bleeding here a little bit. I mean, you can't really know anything about my opponent's sequencing, right? Like we don't know what cards are in their hand. Well, on Arena, there should basically always be audio, because there's the soft track that plays underneath. So I assume they're going to make us sacrifice here. And then this puts the 4th card in their bin, so I can take this out back and drown it in the Loch. And then I can Ritual of Soot to clean up the rest of the idiots next turn. So gotta lose Drawn from Dreams here, unfortunately. But I get to clean the board, and they have 1 card in hand to my top deck plus Brazen Borrower. That just works out really nicely. Okay. Hey, Smitelor, thank you for the... Might do it here, chat. Especially rip a blue source for this, will be in a real good spot. Man. This basic forest chat has just, like, spit in our face so many times today. And again, confident that it's necessary and correct, but definitely feels bad, man. Definitely feels bad, man. Woo, doggy. Oh, buddy old pal. I'm gonna play around Wrinkle. This might be wrong, but I'm just not. Just gonna play around Wrinkle. Good golly, chat. Yeah, you have to play the forest because you need Fabled Passage to be all 3 colors. How many blue sources are in this deck? I'm pretty sure we're just unlucky and the mana is fine, but I want to confirm that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11... 12, there's 16 blue. We're a little on the low side for blue. For people asking why I'm not scrying, it's because that's not a legal play. If I could scry, I could play Cavalier of Gales. So hoping to find a drown in the Loch or a trophy or something to deal with this night. Opponent is flooding out here, so we've got that going for us. Yep. Red Rover, let Rankle come over. And they know about this here, so they know they're consciously making this trade. Which makes sense, because my 3/1s are going to kill them pretty quickly, so... What if we don't leave Forest open? Thanks. Sick. Alright, well, looks like they flooded enough that we're going to be okay here. Goodbye, friend. Fare thee well. Kill you. Thunk. Huh? That felt pretty reasonable overall. Match we lost, I feel like we got pretty unfortunate. Brazen Borrower, I don't know how I feel about this card in this deck. I've liked this card in most decks that we've played. However, I feel like this is the first deck I've played this in that I really wasn't super excited about this card in. The fact that it only blocks flying threats makes it pretty medium in terms of defensive play. And there's a lot of things in this format right now, like both the Oven decks and the Blue-Red Flash deck bouncing isn't particularly exciting. So that this might be a card this deck's just not interested in playing because it's just not aggressive enough to leverage the 3/1 even with these here. It was also good at closing things out in some of those games too though, so maybe I'm undervaluing it here. Yeah, I think I'm going to be done after just a few matches with this one. We've already been playing this thing for about 70 minutes now, which 60 to 90 minutes is somewhere about my goal for the day, goal for most decks. It's one of the downsides to submitting control decks is they tend to take a little bit longer to slog through, so we tend to play a little bit less matches with them. Cry felt real good. Played against decks that Cry was good against. Alright, what are we doing? That's gonna wrap